Hunter Killer. So Hunter Killer is based off of a book, and it stars Common, the rapper, and Gerard Butler and Gary Oldman and a couple other people, but those are the main cast we get. It tells a story about Gerard Butler. He's the captain of the submarine. He has to go investigate these two subs that got sunk and investigate what exactly happened. He gets there, he finds out that the American sub was hit by a torpedo and that the Russian sub blew up from the inside, and when they're there, they get attacked. Meanwhile, we got a group of SEALs that go to investigate what's going on land in Russia, and it turns out there's a coup going on, and this defense minister guy wants to take over Russia and start a war. So now Gerard Butler and his crew have to go get these SEALs, and the SEALs gotta get the president. And that's our story. Let's start with my positives. My positives is the cast we get in this movie. I really enjoy Gerard Butler. That's what really got me in the seat, was Gerard Butler's appearance. I love him in every movie he really does, like Law Abiding Citizen. Even if it's like a comedy, like that one he did with Jennifer Aniston. I can't remember the title. But if Gerard Butler's in it, I am there. And Gary Oldman. Gary Oldman, I feel like, even though we don't really get too much of Gary Oldman in this movie, he plays like the Joint Chiefs of Staff, but the performance we get from everybody is really good. You feel the genuine terror on their faces. So that overall is a positive for this movie. We also get a couple little cameos, some bad guys from previous movies that are Russians. You get the Russian bad guy from John Wick and the Russian bad guy from Indiana Jones 4. So it's always nice to see a familiar face from other movies that kind of makes you feel nostalgia for those movies and want to go back and watch them. There are some very good moments in this movie. I mean, this movie kind of drags a little bit. There's a lot of like submarine talk. You're not going to understand like 90% of what's being said. Like, all right, I believe you. I believe that's how that's done. I believe that's how that's done. I believe you, Gerard Butler. I am counting on you. But they're saying all this submarine talk, and you're like, okay, I'm going with it. But there are genuine moments of good tension. There's that scene where they're going through this minefield, and they're using the captain of the Russian sunk ship, the sunken, submarine, and they're using him to kind of guide them through it. And they come across this minefield that has like these sound sensors that just blow up on sound, and everybody has to like shut up in the submarine. One of them almost drops something, and that's like the best genuine suspense moment in that. Like, you're just like, oh shit. And then once we get close to the third act, it almost turns into like the Lone Survivor movie. You got these four SEALs, and they're like the cliche SEALs people who just don't really fear death. They want to see some action. So it's kind of like a cliche thing going on there, but it's enjoyable. They at least try with one of them to kind of give him some sort of background. He has a picture of a girlfriend, but that's really it. The other people, these people really don't have any story. They're just like, all right, we're SEALs, we want to go kill people. But yeah, this isn't like a guns blazing movie. It's not like car chases or anything. This just know what you're going into when you go see this movie. It's just like a submarine movie throughout the whole thing. And not necessarily positive or negative, but the president in this movie is a woman who looks like Hillary Clinton. I'm not sure if they did that on purpose, but there is a Madam President, and she wears a pantsuit, and she has short blonde hair. I think I know what they were trying to do. Just throwing that out there, that there is a Hillary Clinton lookalike in this movie as the president. It's not going to ruin your enjoyment. She really has like a 60-second scene, and that's all you see of the president. Now, my negatives for this movie, well, let's just start with the simple ones. We got this cliche motivation, like, I just want to start war with America. So basically, it's just like Russian pride. You got this minister guy who starts a coup and just brainwashes all kinds of people to agree with him. Apparently, this Russian president just sucks at his job, that there's so many people willing to work against them and start a war with America that they know they're gonna lose. Come on. There's lots of like last second like cliche moments in movies where like somebody gets saved literally at the last second. Like, all right, we're gonna execute this guy, and then they get shot in the head by somebody else. It's like, oh, last second. Just some little cliche moments like that, but it doesn't really take away from your enjoyment. And I will say, back to what I was talking about earlier about these SEALs, like they don't give them any character, so you don't even really care if they die, and over half of them do die. So it's like, I don't care. Like when they die, they almost try to make it seem like it's impactful. At least one of them, like, oh no, he's gone. I'm just like, I don't care. I don't even know him. The only guy I know about is the guy who has a picture of a girlfriend. So what do I know about these people? Sure, they're Americans. I should care a little, but I just don't. They don't really focus that much time on them. They're just kind of there to gather intelligence and then save the president. And then this third act kind of turns into like Lone Survivor, like I said. And that's like, so that's the aspect of the movie for like action fans that will appeal to you, but the rest is kind of just like dialogue driven and tension building. And then you get the gun blazing part, which I enjoy, but it's just these cliche SEALs who I don't really give a shit about. They just kind of give you those generic, I'm a badass, I enjoy killing people, and I brag about it at home type of characters, and it's just lame. It just feels like I've seen it before. It's just the same cliche SEAL characters in every SEAL movie. Well, let's talk about the directing. The directing at some parts of this movie, I felt like I was watching Office Space, the TV show where the camera just kind of keeps moving, zoom in, zoom out on people's faces. I'm like, is this a TV show or a movie? But then there's a scene in the movie where I literally almost got sick. The camera just kept going on a 360 when two people were talking to each other. And what they were talking to each other about really didn't merit that 360. It didn't build tension. It's like, they're just talking like, I wanted to throw up. It's like, just keep the camera still on them. It's like, the 360 thing is pointless. Why are we doing this? And another negative I have is just like, the movie doesn't feel genuine anymore when Russian people are all in a group and they're speaking English to each other. It doesn't make sense. It's like, I'm not lazy. I can read subtitles, so make this movie feel authentic by having these Russians speak Russian to each other. And even when they do speak Russian sometimes, they don't give you subtitles, and that pisses me off. But yeah, it just doesn't make sense when you got all these Russians and they're just speaking English to each other. It's like, reverse that. Would that make sense if I, with my friends at a bar, speaking Russian, would that make sense? Even if I was like introducing like a Russian girlfriend or something, it wouldn't make sense. Like, здравствуйте, господа. Здесь моя подруга. Она русская. Очень приятно, госпожа. Добро пожаловать в Америку. Вы говорите по-английски? Нет. Oh, well, that sucks. Alright. It doesn't make sense. Now let me ask you something. Were you able to read those subtitles? Yes. So why doesn't this movie give us subtitles and just make it feel authentic? I am bleeding very badly. So I just somehow, in between cuts, slice my hand wide open, and it is bleeding profusely. I think I need stitches. But that has nothing to do with this movie, so who gives a shit? Alright, well, I gotta say, this movie was fun, but is it something you want to rewatch? This is a good one-time experience, so therefore I would just say that when it comes to Hunter Killer, this is a movie that's probably just fun if you would just rent it at Redbox. There are some good moments, but for the most part, it kind of feels like it's a little too long. It's only 2 hours long, but sometimes it feels like it's 2.5 hours because a lot of the things you're just not really understanding. It's got a lot of cliches in it, cliche characters, but it still has some fun in it, so that's why I recommend you just rent it. But those are my thoughts on Hunter Killer. Have you seen this movie yet? It's been out almost a week now. Let me know what you thought about it in the comments below. And as always, just make sure to hit that like button and to subscribe by clicking on my beautiful cartoon face in 5 seconds to see more. And until next time, до свидания.
Yeah.